Now, last weekend, Beijing experienced torrential rains, the likes of which have not been seen in over 60 years, forcing many residents from flooded villages and homes in the outskirts of the city. Over 6 inches of rain fell on the city on Saturday, wreaking havoc on many outlying villages where sewage systems were not equipped to handle the flooding. The Fangshan district apparently saw 18 inches of flooding in some neighbourhoods, leading to mass evacuations. Even in the heart of the capital, flooded underpasses and fallen power lines contributed to the 37 deaths reported from the rainfall. Downpour grounded over 500 flights at Beijing airport, which left tens of thousands of passengers stranded. City officials said the thunderstorm gave Beijing the heaviest rain it's seen since 1951. It's not the first bout of flooding, though, that China has seen this year. Recently, parts of the central Chinese city of Wuhan were under several feet of water as the provincial capital's drainage system proved unprepared to deal with serious storms there. And throughout the nation, heavy rain has proved devastating for various types of infrastructure, some of which one wouldn't expect necessarily to be vulnerable to water damage. We've covered here in China Take the collapse of nearly completed bridges and high-speed rail lines after heavy rainstorms. So what do Chinese net users make of this most recent storm and of the government's response? Was Mother Nature going to have its way with the city no matter what, or is this another example of inadequate infrastructure failing Chinese citizens? Let's cross over to the newsroom now, where our researcher Julia Liu has been keeping an eye on what's being said. Okay, Julia, of course there's been a huge amount of coverage of this rain in the media. How are Chinese net users reacting to the rain and what happened afterwards, the consequences?
Given that accidents resulting from the rain killed 37 people, the situation is obviously getting a lot of attention on the internet here. Many net users are expressing shock that this kind of thing could happen in modern day China. This is what this poster Liu Xipu from 163.com says. Can you believe this? In the capital of a country that has the world's second highest GDP, a rainstorm has caused over 30 deaths. And it seems that this poster, Hong Mo Jianfei, also feel it is hard to accept. And he says, the whole thing is just incredible. Every year there's so much money spent on the city's public affairs, including the city's sewer system. But this just makes me wonder what they're actually doing with all that money. As the situation developed, you found many net users expressing worry over residents that were still stranded, like this one from Sohu.com, saying, "Oh my God, I never imagined things were so serious. So what's the situation right now?" And finally, this poster, Stardung170, laughs things off, saying, "Well, after this storm, I've got to tell my friends that it's really important to learn to swim, since you never know when the city that you live in will suddenly turn into an ocean."
Now, there's been plenty of coverage in the media here of cases in which local residents came out and helped people who were in danger or in need. Have net users been talking about these cases? In the same vein, what are net users saying about the government reaction to the flooding rather than that from ordinary citizens?
Well, about this question, just like you said, after the storm, a lot of local residents indeed went out to the street and tried to help citizens who were trapped. Some people drove their own cars to the airport and other afflicted areas to give free rides to people who were stranded. Some people even posted their own addresses on the internet, claiming that if anyone was trapped near the address, they could give those people shelter from the downpour. And of course, this kind of kind-hearted behavior indeed moved many net users, like this one, Huining Laoma, who said, "In my view, this is moving night. Through the photos and posts on the internet, I know of an old man out in the rain who was trying to dredge the sewer. I know a director of a police station who died when he tried to rescue some trapped people. And I know many traffic police still working hard at their posts and a lot of strangers who are willing to take others home. These ordinary people are the conscience of the city, and I admire them." However, when it comes to the government's performance, it seems that some of net users are unsatisfied, like this one from QQ.com, who has this critique. It's not the first time that Beijing has faced this kind of situation. Several years ago, when there were similar floods, the government said that the sewer system needed to be improved. But what did they do? Now they just tell us again that the sewer system isn't well equipped. So then what do they plan to make a change? And this poster, 大道不公, also posed his own question, asking, with such a heavy rain, why didn't people get any warnings before? And why doesn't the government have a proper plan to deal with the flooding? Besides this poster, Han Zhiguo, who lives in Beijing, has this to say. The sudden heavy rain just makes people see two different Beijings. The kind-hearted residents came out and joined in the rescue spontaneously, while the toll stations still use the time to charge the fees. We can agree that the problem of city infrastructure will take time to fix, but couldn't they behave more humanely under these circumstances?
Now, as we mentioned, Julia, this isn't the first time that Beijing, or indeed other cities in China, have faced emergencies following heavy rains. So what's been taken from this situation? Are there any suggestions as to how the city's responses might be improved?
Well, many net users seem to be focusing on the old sewer system. Let's have a look at what this poster from eastmoney.com says. I think the quick development of the city not only makes it hard to upgrade the sewer system, but it also makes it difficult for the Environmental Protection Department or the Municipal Planning Department to solve other problems. To go forward, the city needs to make it clear which departments are responsible for which aspects, and then try to integrate the strengths of these departments. It's also necessary to change the drainage network all around the city as soon as possible. Zhou Yuwen, a professor studying the sewer system, also posed his own opinion, saying, I think the knowledge about the sewer system we have has really lacked. In fact, advanced our understanding of the system, we could set up a computer model and imitate the real situation of heavy rains. Then we would have a better plan of action because we know what's really coming. But right now, without that knowledge, we can only guess at the situation based on our own experiences. And finally, Wei Yingjie, a commentator from iPhone.com, thinks Beijing's experiences over the weekend should serve as a warning to other cities. And this is what he has to say. I think many city planners don't realize the importance of the sewer system, or even if they have realized it, they're still not willing to spend money on it. But I think this time the situation in Beijing has proved that if the city doesn't prepare well for these kinds of rains, the whole city can be trapped and paralyzed by floods.
Okay, thanks for that, Julia. That was China Take researcher Julie Liu with online reaction to those devastating rainstorms over the weekend in Beijing. Next here on China Take, some of the top trending phrases on China's most popular search engines. Let's see what's got Chinese net users curious.